I had a blast at Monday Night Raw last night. Went with my wife. Shout out Peter Labardius. Had some tickets, couldn't use them, and so I bought them off of him, and they were amazing. And I don't like they were. Obviously, it's a bit of a different setup at the Saddle Dome as it was at AT&T Stadium almost 10 years ago now for WrestleMania 32. But it was kind of like where we were sitting for that, which doesn't give you guys any extra context. But it was basically dead on to the entranceway. We were second. We were the 200 level, second row, and we were basically straight on with the entrance ramp. And I loved watching it from that perspective. You get the full scope of the entrances still. The ring action is great. Like, you're just seeing it all straight on. It was amazing. But the live presentation that they do is so great. Even like during the commercial breaks, the DX crotch chop cam and stuff like that. You get a couple of the ad things. The Sheamus workout with LA Knight. At one point, my wife leaned over. It's like, why are we doing this? I don't know, to show how big their biceps are. But it was, honestly, it was a 3-hour show in the thing that flew by. And I thoroughly enjoyed it and could not recommend going to a WWE show more. My wife and I talked about it after. I don't know if I could do a house show again. And look, not that like Raw was this life-changing thing. Again, I've been to a WrestleMania, but like it was so nice because it's been a while since I've been to a Raw, and it's been a while since Raw was here. It was just so nice to go to a show where you knew things mattered. Because house shows are fun. The guys goof around, they try stuff. And you get like matches that look good on the poster. But you know nothing really is going to happen, right? You know, like Gunther against Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn's going to get close. We're probably not doing a world title change at the RIP, the Corral, for a WWE show in Calgary, right? Like, we're probably not doing that. So it was nice to see something where the story's advanced. And now we're going to see these clips of Bronson Reed hitting a tsunami through the table on Braun Strowman for forever. So it was a really cool experience. The street fight was a blast. It was a great way to set the tone. The Gunther Bret Hart segment was unbelievable. Seeing Bret come down, for sure, we probably should have done a pre-tape of him walking in the hallway. That probably wasn't the angle that we wanted on Bret, but he comes out, he looks great, he's clapping hands, he sounds just like he did, and it was just so cool to see that. And then Gunther comes out, he isn't able to get a word out with that crowd, and he was loving it. He government named Wade Barrett, calling him Stu at one point, which was hilarious. And then the Goldberg line buckled me. I wasn't expecting it at all because I just assumed we're in Canada. We're in Calgary. It's Bret. What did we do for 20 years? We chanted, "You screwed Bret" at Shawn. And so I assumed Gunther was going to say my favorite wrestler was Shawn Michaels. And when he said Goldberg, it got me in the best way. I loved it so. It was so funny. And then Sami Zayn coming out with the Johnny Gaudreau tribute. Deeds, I saw you mention in here earlier. How much did Sami endear himself to the Calgary fans last night? I was tears rolling down my face when he came out. Because again, I'm just not expecting it. He comes out in the Calgary jersey and it's like, okay, it's the he did this in Edmonton, or I think he did it in Edmonton. I'm pretty sure he did it in Edmonton. Someone at least did it in Edmonton. Maybe that was Kevin Owens. I'm getting my shows mixed up. Anyway, not important. What is, so you're expecting like, okay, yeah, he is the Canadian guy. He's coming out to help Bret Hart, and he's wearing the local hockey team's jersey. And then when you see it's Gaudreau, and you know the funeral was mere hours before, and there's the revelation that Gaudreau's widow is now pregnant with their third child, and just you have all of those emotions coming in. And like for us, we walk up the entranceway where they have the memorial there, and that was my first time seeing it in person because we were gone for the weekend, and I had stuff to do during the candlelight vigil, so I haven't been down there yet. And so you have all of those emotions anyway, and then when that happened, just a puddle, man. That was quite something. So yes, he endeared himself amazingly to the Calgary faithful. That is for sure. A couple of, like, the Fatal 4-Way was great. Drew McIntyre is a blast, and just, like, he feels like a star. The other one, and I've said this before about the TV, but it came true in real life as well. Jade Cargill. you could put her as a superhero tomorrow and people were buying that. And like where we are, like we're in the 200 level, so we're a bit up. She still looked big. Like she still looked like a big deal. And she flexes and there's just like, it looks different. And she just, if they could get the in-ring even remotely close, but even that, she was good. Like she hits the pump kick, they hit a fun move, and that's it. It's over. It's a fun thing. And I know a lot of people are really just desperate to immediately break this team up. I think they should be a thing for a while. I did a while ago on YouTube, or on the podcast as well, my booking ahead to WrestleMania 41. And I put, I had them together as a tag team against Charlotte and Becky, which I don't know if Becky's going to be in the company to do that, but I had reasons. We don't need to rebook the whole thing, but I think they should keep them together for a while. Allow Jade to build into this character. Allow her to build the in-ring experience. This is where them running less house shows definitely hurts. And if you could convince her to go hang out at the Performance Center for a few days a week, to continue to grow her abilities, and maybe she does already. I don't know, but like there is obviously something there with her as well. And I thought it was interesting too that they were making the Judgment Day feel like a really big deal. We saw Finn Balor like 5 times on that show. And then they have the edited promo at the end. It was like, okay, they are really reestablishing this as the group. And I thought, like, they came out and they had a presence. I will never be a JD McDonough fan. I feel like he is one of the ones where people are trying too hard to make a smaller wrestler feel a bit more important. And there's also the other speaking out stuff that came around with him. But like Carlito, Liv Morgan, I think obviously you lose a bit of presence with a Liv Morgan to a Rhea Ripley, but it's a different presence that she brings. And I thought it worked really, really well with that group. So overall, like, were there a couple of segments that maybe felt a little draggy? I mean, maybe, but overall, the whole show was a lot of fun. And it was a really, really, really good time. And the one thing I will say, I don't want to be too old man yells at Cloud, and too anti-AEW. A couple This Is Awesome chants last night, and we didn't need to stab a guy with a needle. We didn't need to bludgeon a guy with a steel chair in the head. We didn't need to suffocate him. We just like the first This Is Awesome chant came on a table spot, I believe it was. Which you can do 100 of those. And there was after like a dive to the floor by Joe Gacy, and then a dude goes through a table. That got a This Is Awesome chant. The second one was after a near fall, and then they threw Braun Strowman into steps. So the thing is, like, you can get big reactions from stuff. And I'm not saying don't do big things. And I'm not even saying like don't push the needle. Like there is absolutely a world where like a hangman swerve sort of a death match where we're using cinder blocks and we're using chairs and we're trying to push the envelope with the violence. That there is 100% a place for some of that. I do think AEW could be a little bit more sparing in that, but that is what they've kind of drilled home on, so that is fine. But I do think if you are just doing something to get a reaction, you can get a reaction. It's like that there are things you can do before attempted murder that get This Is Awesome chants and holy shit chants and all of those things. So that was just my main thing, was that like I watched this 3-hour show, had an amazing time. Presumably no one almost died. And I still came away. I didn't leave that show thinking, man, yeah, that was great. But boy, if Joe Gacy could have just hauled off and just blasted Chad Gable in the dome with a chair, that really would have made that match. They laid it out in a way that was entertaining and it was fun. And I really, really enjoyed the whole thing. So just again, a reminder that while sometimes the shock factor is needed, and sometimes the escalation of violence is needed when the storyline dictates it, sometimes all you got to do to get a big reaction is put a guy into stairs, and that's going to help build your show just as easily.